Okay, so we're here again. I was just noticing that in the choices down the little sidebar here, right, right here, right down here, um, there's a place where you can add the title and you can add comments, and then there's a thing about gaming underneath. And I don't know, hi Stellar, I don't know what that's about. I guess maybe you can make a video of yourself playing video games, which must be intensely interesting. Maybe as interesting as watching Gilead sit around drawing pictures all day. I don't know. So here we are once again with a picture that probably looks just like every other picture you've ever looked at from me, but it's not. It's not every other picture. It's just some of the other pictures that you've looked at from me, and we're gonna do something here. She's cast a shadow across her leg, which I just didn't finish drawing at whatever point I did this. And then this lower shadow down here. And I've got something indicated. This must be more shadow here. I don't know why there's a line across there. Um, I either don't have the reference photo, or I just couldn't figure out who it was. I've got them saved by model's name, and I don't recognize this person. I may have changed the look of their hair. David says it's beautiful. Thank you. I may have changed the hair, or I don't know. I'm not sure who this is. So so I can't go find her photo for now. That's all right. Just gonna fill in a couple things that I know need filling in, like these shadows here. And yeah, yeah. Give her some eyelashes just cause. Just cause. This may be the point where I start to make the model look like all the other models. John sent me a thing and then said, I have no idea what this is. Okay, me too. Yeah, so I've been accused of pretty much only drawing the same girl over and over again. Like I draw the same face all the time. And I imagine that's true. It's just something that, I've just got this in my head that this is the shape the lip ought to look like, this is the shape the eyes ought to look like. And even if I've drawn a model and it doesn't look like that, I may have a tendency subconsciously to just go, oh, that doesn't look right, and start fixing it and turning it into, uh, some image I have in my head. For what it's worth, though, I don't buy into the whole perfect 10 notion or anything like that. I don't have a list of attributes. Sharon says, I'm at work, but I feel safe enough. Good. Good to hear. And Sharon did a shrugging emoji thingy. That one I recognize. It's kind of recognizable. The other one I have no idea what that is. So yeah, I'm glad you feel safe. This is a safe space, except when I say something crazy, which I'm prone to do. Then it's not so safe. Okay, there's an optical illusion that happens. Sometimes people say, "Man, that leg's way too thick," that knee. Um, but it isn't. It's just that the thigh is pointed straight at you. So, you've got the fold right here. Well, that's not the top of her kneecap right there. The top of her kneecap's right here. So you're looking mostly at the top of her thigh, right along in there. And it might be a good idea to me take my smudgy little hand and just put another little tone in there to create the impression of another plane, and that will help me out when people say that's too thick. Um, that'll correct that, and I could do that here too. Or I could put a great big Victorian dress on her and not worry about any of it. Yay, earbuds. Earbud. Oh, okay, at work, yeah. So if I cuss loudly, you're safe. Yeah, it's usually not you that isn't safe. It's your coworkers that aren't safe. Somebody was asking me earlier if I'm on Pinterest, and I said I don't know. And I went and looked. But apparently, I am on Pinterest. I had to set myself a new password because apparently I'd done that years ago, and I had no idea, and I didn't write it down, or I didn't write it down in my special place where I write down all the rest of that stuff. Um, John says if you were sitting right at her toes, then you would be hiding most of her. Um, yes. I mean, I would have to have been sitting that way a little bit, looking straight down her thigh. Um, that happened from time to time. So I went on Pinterest, I set myself a new password, and then I looked at my profile, which contained nothing. And then I looked at my pins, which contained nothing. And I looked at my who I'm following, nobody. And then I looked at followers, and there's a whole bunch. And I thought, wow, that must be a bunch of really disappointed followers who are following me, doing absolutely nothing on Pinterest. Um, and I don't actually quite know what to be doing on Pinterest. I know it's a cool place to go and, well, actually, here's what I know. Sometimes I will Google something like Egyptian costume. Okay. This is, in fact, how I wound up there this morning. Egyptian costume, and I'll find, pictures in various parts of the interwebs and pictures from old movies and Cleopatra films and stuff like that. And then I'll click on one of these pictures to try to see it a little better, and it'll launch me to Pinterest, where there's a bunch of other pictures of from different movies and Halloween costumes and all this kind of stuff. And so then I'm like, oh great. So you can save images from there. Okay. I haven't figured out yet if there's actually a way for me to put images on there, or if they're just there linked from other places. Um, so I haven't got a clue. I tried setting up my studio a little different, and I keep tripping on my power cord, which shuts off this backup computer that I have. and I mean, I'm going to trip on it because the cord is pulled right across here where my feet are, and I'm cramped into a little space. And if I go like this, I've yanked the power cord out of the machine. So I tried setting it up over there, and it's too far away, and my my photos, my things behind me, and my reference photos over there. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It used to be right here in front of me. Look. Don't you feel sorry for me? I live such a hard life. So, what was I saying? Pinterest. I don't know if I'm going to do anything on Pinterest. I've got an account now, and something could happen. You know, it's been around for enough years that I feel kind of stupid that I really almost don't know what it is. I don't quite know what the concept is, or what, like, when somebody goes, "You should be on Pinterest." Um, I don't know what they're saying, you know. And usually, I mean, you know, I'll post something to somewhere else on Facebook, another group or something. Somebody will say, "You should be on Pinterest," and I'll say, "Really? Why?" And I never hear from that person again. So, you know, sometimes that starts a discussion, and sometimes it doesn't. And so far, I haven't uh, uh, any information. I know one time I tried that conversation and just got a bunch of people saying, I like Instagram better or something, which is good, but it still doesn't really tell me what I'm asking, which is what are the merits? What does it do? What does it do that Facebook doesn't do? Or does it do anything Facebook doesn't? Or is it everything Facebook wishes it was, but it can't be because it sucks? I don't know. Somebody somebody's got that opinion. I'm quite sure. Um, so this girl, she's sitting on a slab, she's sitting on some piece of stone. I mean, I could decide right away that no, she's not. She's sitting on a tree stump, or she's sitting on a rock by the river. Hmm. She's sitting on a slab of stone in a ruin, because that's just what people do here in this world. But there's a tree growing up behind her. Sometimes you want to be careful about tree branches. Are they directing your eye towards the model or away from the model? Um, this is all going to be filled in shadow. I think that'll be fine. Sometimes I want to make it more severe. I don't like I don't like that it just comes down and disappears behind her. I kind of wish this tree trunk was more severely angled so it could just got more energy. Interest. Interest, not Pinterest. Piece of truffle. Where's my piece of truffle? Yes. Let me see. There's Pinterest talk here. That's good because I want to know. Um, Sharon says I actually accidentally opened Pinterest account. It is effing impossible to cancel it. Interesting. Okay, so and Pinterest strikes me as online scrapbooking. Okay, yeah. Okay, and it's kind of frequently see recipes. I've seen that too. As good a place as any to store them. Yeah, yeah, storing your recipes. Right. I don't know that it's a great place to showcase my artwork, or even if I would be, even if it would be possible. I almost get the impression that somebody else would have to start a Gilead Art Pinterest page. Um, Hard to say. Um, I used to have a blog, and there were things I really liked about having the blog. But, they irritated me because it was like $10 a year, $12 a year, I don't remember, to maintain my blog. Had been for years. I've been keeping it up. Whenever it was coming due, they would send me a notice saying you need to renew your blog. And then they sent me a thing saying um, you're going to get much better response by upgrading. Well, actually, okay, I'm getting this wrong. The first part of it was free for the basic one. Then they convinced me to upgrade to the $10 a month one. And they were right. I did get more traffic. I got more more of an internet presence with my $10 a year blog. So they were notifying me that it's time to re-up. And then one time they didn't notify me, and I expired. And then they said your blog's expired. It costs $250 to restart it. Um, and I was like, screw you, and and I didn't do it because I was just mad. I mean, it's just like that felt like a It felt like a setup. It felt like a dirty trick. You know, it's like it didn't cost that much to set it up in the first place, and I didn't get my renewal notice. Sure, you can put that on me and say, well, you're supposed to keep up with your stuff, but you get renewal notices for everything these days. It's just a simple matter. The thing automatically sends to your email or whatever. I felt cheated. I was cheated. So then I dropped the blog, and sure enough, um, my internet profile just dropped. Just before then, if you did a vanity thing, where you Google uh, Gilead fantasy artist or whatever, um, ton of stuff that was really me. Um, Also, a bunch of stuff that was about Stephen King's The Gunslinger series, and a bunch of stuff about um, Handmaid's Tale. Even went back before uh, the TV series was on, because it was actually a movie back in the 80s, I think, and it had been a book before then. So, and then there's other things. There's I don't know. There's a Bible camp in Missouri or something, and they have art shows, and so art of Gilead, has that interpretation and things like that. Um, so, but my stuff, my fantasy art was your top hits for a while, and then without my blog, that went away, and now my fantasy art doesn't show up at all. If you Google, Gilead fantasy art, you won't see anything of me. You'll just see uh, Gunslinger and Handmaiden's Tale and all that kind of stuff. So I miss my blog, but I'm still resentful enough that I'm not going to go give those people my money. Um, if I go that route again, I'll get an actual website, which I'm starting to think I probably should have. Probably. This girl needs longer hair. They all need longer hair. It's how you know it's fantasy art and they have long hair. If they have short hair, it's urban fantasy or cyberpunk. I don't know what I want her to be wearing, apart from boots and jewelry. It's the only part I'm committed to just yet. So I'm gonna hold off for a minute. So you can't quit Pinterest. That's interesting. Leave here feet first, buddy, or not at all. Good place to drop ideas and visual references. Well, that's interesting. What, instead of keeping them on my hard drive and losing them? Although, if all they are is a bunch of links, because sometimes I've seen stuff, a lot of times I've seen stuff and I was like, ooh, that's cool. And I click on it and it goes to a dead web page. It just says, there's nothing here. Um, but somehow it's still showing up on the Pinterest thing. So they've cached that much data. Um, mhm. So in other news, what's other news? I went to the zoo yesterday, and they have a anteater at the zoo. And I've seen the anteater before, but they built at the back of his enclosure. They built a cement and rock uh, pool for him so he can take a bath. And it turns out anteaters love taking a bath. He probably had like a big wash tub, back behind the fence, where he can go at night. But he was back there. I'll back up a little bit. Anytime there was something good to see, there was a cluster of people, and you'd have to elbow your way into this cluster of people and catch COVID in order to look at things. So I was seeing things from a bad vantage point, like through the bushes or something, but I was just like, oh, that's really cool. I want to take a picture, but I can't get my camera into a clear space. And anyway, um, this big anteater, they're huge. They're from nose tip to the end of their tail. They're at least 6, 8 feet long. Um, But he went over and he got in his pool and he walked around in there for a while and then he laid down and he rolled over on his back and he had all four legs up in the air. And then he started splashing himself like a person taking a bath and he was had his arm up and he was like washing his pits and then he did his other arm, and with those big long claws, doing this and his long snout and it was very comical looking. And it would have been a great video if I could have gotten in there and taken some video, but I couldn't do it. For the most part, I took a walk, is what I did yesterday. I saw animals from a distance over the tops of some heads, but I didn't get up and see anything very well. Um, so yeah, that was fun. We talked about raccoons yesterday. I haven't seen any. Um, I haven't figured out what I'm doing with this. I like it so far. I just think, I could plunge ahead and screw it up. That's sometimes a bad thing about liking something. You just go, I kind of like that, and then you don't want to mess with it. Um, what I don't like about it, if I was setting this up, if the model was posing, um, there's very little chance that I would let her get away with doing this because if she was going to sit like that, I would say, okay, then look that direction or look down, you know, down here, or pretend that a bird just flew by and you're turning to look at the bird or whatever, and um, I would make it look like there's something going on in the world, not you're sitting like a statue waiting for somebody to draw your picture. Um, so this has kind of a more of a feeling of a drawing of a person and less the feeling of a drawing of a event going on. It doesn't feel like a scene from a movie or a scene from a book. It feels like a picture of a girl, and I kind of dislike that. Although I very much like the way I did her face, I managed that really well. I managed this under the chin thing pretty well, which is a tricky thing. Um, but I got that. Nevertheless, I'm tempted very much to scrub her whole head out and have her looking in a different direction. But I'll think about it. I'll think about it. And today's Friday. Tomorrow night is Zoom at 5 o'clock. Be there because it's where all the cool kids are. And I will post the link at 4:30. There's a limit of 100 people that can get in, so I recommend that you come early and get your seat. Um, so far, that means we've had to shut out like 95 people. So, yeah, Zoom at 5 o'clock, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.